Well, I probably start out like that every time, don't I? Well, truth is, we're repetitious creatures, aren't we? We tend to stick in a certain lane, uh, comfort zone. I'm one of those guys in terms of, you hit a certain age and you know what you like, and if it tastes good, why would you want to experiment? I mean, in my younger years, I probably did a lot of that. In my older years now, I don't have any great desire to eat something I don't like. Why would I? I have nothing to prove to anyone. So I just don't do it. Now, I'm a big fan of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Uh, Breyers. Walmart has betrayed me. They no longer sell it, or at least you can't find it there. So I have to go to other stores to get it. That's okay. I'll traipse out to other stores that are a little further away just to get my Breyers mint chocolate chip ice cream. And if they have a good amount of it, I'll stock it up so that I can have it for a good while. And I get my little teeny cup of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and sometimes I even break up a little piece of chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate, put it on there. And that's my dessert just about a few times a week. Now, I don't have any desire to break out of that. Someone put something else in front of me that might be good. My wife Sue's been eating this burnt cream, good stuff. Well, why change a good thing? I like the mint chocolate chip ice cream with my little chocolate chips. And if I wouldn't like the other as much, I'll just eat my mint chocolate chip ice cream with my little chocolate chips. I want to repeat that. Why is this important? Because we have a pattern as human beings of not liking change. We like to stay where we're comfortable. God is always pushing us in some way out of our comfort zone. And it doesn't matter how old you are, things are going to change. I recently shared with you that my mother had a fall, and she broke her hip, or fractured it, and broke her clavicle, and everything changed in just a very short period of time. The way that we look at her outcome and her future changed in just a very short period of time. Change is part of life. As we've said, God isn't against change, but mankind, in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29, injected futility into that change. We thought up many schemes. We took what God had made right, and we find 1,000 or billions of different opportunities to distort it. That's what we do. So accepting change is a very important part of our life. And for us as believers, we recognize that everything that happens in our life happens for a purpose. Now, I can't say that anyone else on this earth understands that the way that we do, because we're not being chastised for what the things that go on. And by the way, even if we are being disciplined in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 4 and on, it's because we have a Father in heaven who loves us and doesn't want to let us just drift off onto our own way. So we see everything that happens to us in a different light. God's using these things to challenge us and to conform us into the image of his Son. That makes it different for us. Can you think of another belief system that would accept that? I don't think you can. Almost every other belief system, unless it's just a total, absolute, hedonistic system that just desire, and everything's based on desire. Everything's based on earning what you get. We have a loving Father in heaven who, even in the worst situation, works in our lives to draw us closer to him, to change us into his image. So change, while we don't like it, I don't like the fact that I can't do the same amount of physical labor that I used to do. Well, maybe that's good though. See, at least I can use the age, I can pull the age card. But I don't like the fact that, I lost a tooth. That was tragic. And by the way, it was traumatic also. It changes your whole chewing pattern. It's ridiculous. It's just one little tooth in the back of my mouth. But man, changes everything. I don't like it. But the truth is that in everything that I go through or you go through, God himself is working to draw us closer to him. I don't know of anyone that can argue that from any other belief system other than Christianity. We're not being harmed or belittled or berated, or we're not less than, or we haven't worked hard enough. We're being drawn. When the Word of God speaks of God drawing us with cords of love, what is it, Hebrews 11:6? Or no, it's Hosea 11:6, excuse me. I believe that. 11:4 through 6. I might be wrong. You can check me out. But we were drawn. We're drawn to God because he has such great love for us. What a beautiful thing. Now, I don't know what 2024 is going to hold for you. I've said this numerous times recently, or me, or anyone else in my life. I'm sure my brother Mitch didn't envision what we've been dealing with in the last few weeks. But change is part of God's equation for us. And though the enemy would love to make it something that is evil, God turns what he meant to be bad into good. Only he can do that. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. In Genesis 50 and verse 20. Something to think about as we go into the new year. And by the way, this one's already starting to move along just as quickly as the last one. Till next time, friends, God bless you.